For years, I've dealt with numerous digestive issues. However, it wasn't until a few years back when I developed a serious dairy allergy that I actually began to try to dive into the foods that could potentially be causing my digestive issues. From a young age, I remember always being taught about my nutrition. In the school system that I was raised in, we actually had a class called nutrition, where once a month we would get together, cook different foods, and learn about the food chart. The older I got, the more that I was also introduced to different sources of learning about nutrition, even including the nutrition course that I'm currently enrolled in now. And what is the biggest lesson that I've been taught about nutrition throughout my entire life? That moderation is key. Now, I'm not dismissing this as truth, or that this can't potentially be very helpful, especially for people who have difficult relationships with food. As someone who has continuously had a fluctuating weight of up to 240 pounds due to my difficult relationship with food and my proneness to binge eating, I fully understand that moderation can be key. Where I challenge this statement is the foods that we are moderating shouldn't necessarily be in our diet to begin with, and they're causing extreme damages to our body without our awareness or our education. According to a study done by the National Institute of Health, over 61% of people reporting having at least one GI symptom in the past week. And according to another study done by MD-VIP, 2/3 of Americans are living with gut issues but have no understanding as to why or how to improve it. I know what a majority of you are thinking. What's the big deal? So what if I have a problem going to the restroom once a week or my husband has really bad gas? But here's the problem. According to a new study led by the University of Florida, researchers find that people with chronic inflammation have more than double the risk of dying from heart disease and nearly triple the risk of dying from cancer within the next 15 years. Now, this wasn't a small study that was done. This was a study of 95 million Americans. While I understand that having all of these issues can be caused for a multitude of reasons, over the past few years, it's also come to my awareness of 3 prominent ingredients found in nearly all of our food that can be substantially detrimental to our health, except we're not told about them. So today I am here not to convince you, but to present you with the information that I feel like so many of us are lacking. Here is that information. First ingredient on the agenda today is an ingredient that most people don't think about when they're reading a label. But for the most part, it's in every single product that we consume. Pesticides. Now, when studying up on pesticides, what I find personally most concerning is, according to the University of New Hampshire, pesticides largely work by active ingestion. These pesticides must be eaten by the insects in order to harm them. Then the viruses take over the infection of certain cells, specifically those of the gut first, and continue to make many copies of themselves. As a result, the insect cells burst and die. Another way that insecticides can work is once digested by the insect, the microbes then decide to attack the gut lining. In the same resource by University of New Hampshire, they say, and I quote, "Most of the insecticides in common use today are toxic to people as well as insects, although the degree of toxicity to people depends on the dose of the material and the mechanism of action." It's not that pesticides aren't toxic to us. It's just the amount in which we ingest. However, what does that look like when nearly every single product we ingest on a day-to-day basis, from fresh fruits and vegetables to even the grain that was used to make the pasta that we eat, is pumped full of these chemicals? I was personally always taught that this is why we wash fruits and vegetables, whether or not that was fully accurate. But according to a study done by the American Chemical Society, it showed that 20% of 59 different fruits and vegetable categories carried pesticide residue at levels that pose significant risk to consumers based on USDA standards. Not only did the study decide that there were high amounts of pesticides, it also indicated that the pesticides penetrated the pulp of each fruit and vegetable actually contained in the study, and that traditional fruit cleaning operations cannot fully remove pesticides. It seems to be more than a coincidence that these chemicals are specifically designed to attack the gut lining of insects that ingest these products, and every year tens of millions of Americans are being diagnosed with gut issues. The second ingredient is the ingredient that we might hear all of our crazy aunts mention on Facebook from time to time: food dyes. Food dyes are in a considerable amount of our food, and we're completely unaware of it. Tons of common brand products, such as Kraft macaroni and cheese, Trix cereal, Yoplait yogurt, and just about every candy on the market. According to the National Institute of Health 2012, food dyes were originally synthesized from coal tar, but now they're being synthesized from petroleum, both of which are largely known toxins. Red 40, Yellow 5, Yellow 6, and Blue 1 have been found to be contaminated with a multitude of carcinogens and cause hypersensitivity reactions. Numerous studies on Yellow 5 proved that it was positive for damaging your DNA. And toxicity tests on Citrus 2 and Orange B also suggest safety concerns. But where do we find Citrus Red 2? In a selection of Florida oranges. Even if we don't intend to intentionally, one way or the other, we're still introducing these products into our household. Now, the last ingredient that I'm going to mention today is found in almost every single food product you can find in America today. From your favorite fast food restaurant, even the healthiest prepackaged foods you can find. Seed oils. According to the National Institute of Health 2017, the 20th century has brought a 20-fold increase in the consumption of vegetable oils, resulting both from their increased availability and from recommendations to consume these oils as an aid to lower blood cholesterol levels. This dietary change increased the consumption of linoleic acid to current levels of approximately 6% of total dietary energy throughout an entire day. While vegetable oils have been so largely promoted due to the prevention of atherosclerosis and a reduction of blood cholesterol, this study challenges otherwise. Not only is it shown that vegetable oils do not promote these things, it actually goes to show that that the detrimental effects of elevated dietary linoleic acid on human health related to its role in inflammation and its activity as a promoter of cancer. According to a study done by the University of California 2023, researchers examined the gut of mice that were consistently fed a diet in high soybean oil for up to 24 weeks in a lab. While doing so, they found that beneficial bacteria decreased and harmful bacteria, specifically E. coli, increased. These conditions promoted the chance of colitis. Most of us Americans today do not have the time, the financial opportunity, or even the acreage to be able to grow enough food to sustain our family. A majority of us are getting large amount of our foods from the grocery store and solely the grocery store. While there are certain things that we can do to mitigate our own chances of being exposed to these ingredients on a daily basis, when it is being kept from us and the information is being hidden about these foods, it's nearly impossible to do it completely. This problem isn't fully our problem. It's systemic. It's an issue overall that we have little say in. Today, I provided you with the information not to convince you one way or the other, but so you have the information. These are things that I went a majority of my life without finding out, and it's largely damaged my health because of it. We're never going to completely avoid pesticides, seed oils, or food dyes, but allowing ourselves the opportunity to mitigate these things can largely increase our quality of life and even our quantity. Thank you.